But we're going to go into the player ratings up next, and we're going to start off with Vicario. 6s all round for Big Vic, and yeah, he was fairly weak for the goal that we did concede, and he should be coming for it, but I don't think full blame goes on him for the goal. However, the good things, you know, I think he dealt with everything else that came his way, and yeah, he was hardly untested, to be honest.
Hardly untested.
Hardly tested.
He made a good save from Havertz in the first half. That was off when Havertz won a header. Apart from that header, obviously he made an easy save from Martinelli. Didn't have too much to do, but I did think he struggled from set pieces, I have to say. He flapped at one badly in the first half, where that could have easily cost us if there was an Arsenal player arriving in the back post. And in the second half, for the goal, I mean, it's just when a corner comes in, dropping right outside the 6-yard box, you've just got to be strong as a keeper there, and you've got to come for it, and you've got to try and get something on that. You can't allow an Arsenal player a free header from that position. As a keeper in the Premier League, if you're not coming for that, then we've got a serious problem. So Vicario, it's been a problem now for at least 6 months, and he's just got to work on being stronger in these situations.
The thing is, though, I have felt with Vicario, maybe prior to this game, he has been a lot more commanding from set pieces and corners.
Yeah, he's been this season. Look, to be fair, everyone's going on about our set pieces. The first one we conceded from this season, so yeah, that's something to mention. Yeah,
and also, you're coming up against the team that are best at set pieces in the league. Next up, Pedro Porro, 6s all round. I thought Porro actually put in a really good display for the most part in this game, but he was found wanting a bit from the attack down that left-hand side. I did think he got burnt a couple of times, but you know, he was trying to impact stuff at both ends of the pitch, and he was being really aggressive, putting in those challenges. He goes down from that challenge from Timber, which I thought he made a bit of a meal from, to say the least. But it was never a sending off.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. I think we'll talk about it in reacts. But yeah, I didn't have a massive problem with Porro. I thought by and large he played really well. Martinelli did get the better of him on one occasion, especially when he got in and had that chance. Apart from that, I actually think he was aggressive. He was good in possession. In the final third, I actually thought he was he was probably the least of the culprits when it came to the bad deliveries. I thought his deliveries were probably better than his teammates, so I thought he did okay, but knowing Porro, I think he's got a bit more to give in the final third, so I only gave him a 6.
Yeah, his crossing was really frustrating me, to be honest, and you know, like, he's our best crosser of the ball in the team, and you expect him with Dom Solanke in the middle of the park to put in better crosses. But to be fair, whenever we were putting in crosses, it felt like Solanke was the only guy in there. We weren't getting men into the box. What was? How could you ask Dom Solanke to fight off Saliba and Gabriel at the same time? Like, you need men in the box. Kuti Romero up next. Sim gives him a 4. I gave him a 5. I felt like there were times that he was performing really well with his clearances, his tackles, being aggressive. But you got to look at it. The 2 biggest chances that we conceded throughout the game both came from him. The corner, he should be tracking Gabriel, and the one where Martinelli goes through, I don't know what he's doing. He just gets completely caught out. So Romero's had a very bad season so far. Every goal that we've conceded has come from his mishap. So he needs to sort himself out quickly.
Yeah, he's costing us. He's costing us goals. He's costing us points at the moment, and it's deeply frustrating because he does a lot of good things, and he did a lot of good things yesterday. But when it came to certain moments, he's being too rash. He's being caught out. And he's losing concentration, and that's unforgivable. The corner was unforgivable, how he defended that corner, completely unforgivable. You're tasked with patrolling Arsenal's biggest set piece threat, and you're allowing him to get behind you. You're allowing him to see your shirt number, which should never be happening when you're defending from a set piece, and you're allowing him to bully you. And you're supposed to be this big hard man who, you know, when you're playing for Argentina, nothing gets past you. And then he's putting on a Spurs shirt, and he's being weak, and he's being caught out, and he's losing concentration. And I don't know what's going on with him at the moment, but something needs to change with him, because he's just costing us too many goals at the moment. And there's a case that he should be taken out of the team. I know he does a lot of good stuff, and I know he's probably still our best defender, but when you're making mistakes like he is at the moment, you know, defenders have been dropped for less. So he's got to change.
What message does it send to Radu if he doesn't get taken out of the team? Because we've got a willing and able defender to step in his place.
Yeah.
So we need to send out the right message, and I'm sorry, I would drop Romero. I think he definitely comes out for this Carabao Cup game in midweek. But I would, if Radu has a good game against Coventry, which I'm sure he will, I keep Radu in the team next week against Brentford.
Yeah.
Next up, Mickey van der Ven. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him an 8. I thought he was our best player on the day. He was a man mountain, particularly in the first half, winning the ball in the air consistently. Nothing got past him throughout the day. He was progressing the ball up as well. I thought he put in a top display.
Yeah, I think he was definitely the best defender on the day, and they struggled to deal with him, to be honest. I think they couldn't really get in behind him. He was chasing back. He was doing a lot of good covering. I think in the first half he was doing some good stuff aerially, but did struggle a bit against Havertz in the second half when the balls were going straight directly to him. But I thought he was aggressive. There was a number of times as well he was starting us off on counter-attacks. I thought he had a really good game. So, yeah, gave him a 7.
Next up, Destiny Udogie. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him a 5. A bit of a difference in opinion here. I felt like Udogie did start well and he was being really aggressive. He was winning a lot of duels. But then I felt very quickly after that yellow card, he just didn't seem to have the same impact, and he was shying away from challenges. He wasn't being that bull in the china shop that we know from Destiny Udogie, and I just felt like he was really flat for about probably from the yellow card onwards.
Yeah, you got to remember he's dealing with Bukayo Saka on that side, and he kept him pretty quiet throughout the game. So I've got to give him a lot of credit for that. I think Saka barely impacted the game on that side, and I think a lot of that was down to how aggressive and how strong Udogie was. I think going forward, he didn't really offer too much. Maybe he was hanging back a bit, and I thought when he was inverting, didn't really affect the game in a positive way. He wasn't able to charge into space like we like to see Udogie do. But I think by and large he had a pretty good game. I think he dealt with Saka really well, so I gave him a 7.
Rodrigo Bentancur up next. Him gives him a 6. I gave him a 5. Again, I thought he started off the game really well. He also got that yellow card in the first half, which I felt impacted him. But he wasn't... For someone like Bentancur in the number 6, we need him to, kind of dictate the play and really charge up the pitch. And I don't think he did that. I think whenever he got the ball, he just kept it simple and didn't really help us on the attacking phase of the game.
Yeah, him playing in the 6, I don't think on the ball he carried it as well as like someone like Basuma would, and maybe he didn't commit players like Basuma has potential to. I think off the ball it was decent but not exceptional. Look, to be fair, given how Arsenal set up, he didn't have to be exceptional in terms of defensively, but he did get caught out a couple of times. Obviously got booked once, and then he was looking quite tired, I felt, in that second half. Yeah. That's why he was taken off a Papsar. So I don't think it was terrible, but wasn't nothing spectacular either. So I gave him a 6.
Decky up next. 7's all round for Dayan, and carry on his good form so far this season. He was our most dangerous outlet going forward for sure. He kept winning the ball back high up the pitch. He was, I think he probably had our most shots throughout the day. Maybe Dom Solanke did, but he had the most meaningful ones. Attempts at goal that forced Raya out of saves. He tried one from about 25-30 yards towards the end of the game that just went just over the bar, and if he scores that, you're talking about an absolute worldie to save the day for Tottenham. But at least someone tried it. We need someone to try something in that moment at the time, and it was Kulusevski that did that. But I did feel like he was wasteful in the final third.
Yeah, that was really frustrating. Obviously, he came close right at the end, didn't he? With that strike, it was a decent effort, but wasn't close enough. I felt like he was the one most likely to make something happen. I think all our best stuff came from him. He had that shot that Raya saved. He had the cross which Johnson flicked on. He was the one winning the ball in the really dangerous areas, which set up some really good opportunities. But unfortunately, nothing came of it. He'll be really frustrated that he couldn't do more with some of his good work. And I think he was finding really good pockets of space. I thought when he was on the ball, they really struggled to get the ball off him and really struggled to deal with him. But he'll be frustrated. He didn't do enough in terms of when he found himself in the really good positions. Those little final bits of quality were missing from him. So that was really frustrating. But I want to definitely persist with him in the 8 right now because he's our most consistent player.
Yeah. James Maddison up next. 5's all round for Madders. And, particularly when we needed him the most, he didn't really show up. I felt like there were some good signs from him in the first half, where he was getting the ball, he was winning the ball, but he just wasn't creative enough, to be honest. And for a player like Maddison, and for how deep Arsenal were, just take a few shots, man. The guy did not take one shot throughout the whole time he was on the pitch, and it was just so frustrating to see. He got taken off, and rightly so, but you got to bring Bergvall in that moment to bring on some creativity. But for all the talk that Maddison gave before the game, he failed to deliver.
Yeah, I thought he was doing, as you said, in the first half there were some good moments from him. It was a good ball to the back post for Solanke, who had a header, and he was finding some really good areas. I thought his pressing was decent as well, but there was just no real. I never really felt like, unlike with Decky, I never really felt like he was going to make something like too much happen.
He was busy. That was about it.
Yeah, he was busy, but a lot of the time when he had opportunities to get deliveries in, it was lacking quality, overhitting them and putting them out of play and stuff like that. It was ultimately a really frustrating day for Maddison. Didn't really provide the quality we needed him to provide. His set pieces were all right. Actually, people were complaining about his short corners, but I thought actually they created a few moments from those short corners. So I don't mind them as long as they're creating something. Obviously, Van de Ven had a chance, which his header was saved by Real from a good cross from Maddison. So. Second half I had a big problem with him. I thought he was just anonymous in that second half, and I thought probably rightly taken off. I just wouldn't brought on Werner for him. The most annoying thing is probably when we needed him most was those last 10 minutes to really pick the lock, and that's when we took him off. So wasn't a good day for him.
Brennan Johnson up next. Sim gives him a 3. I gave him a 4. And really frustrating day for Brennan on the right-hand side of the attack. He did take on Timber a couple of times, but I felt like there was just one point in the game where he just said, you know what, I'm not taking you on anymore. I'm just going to check back every time. Couple of crosses. I think he got 1 or 2 crosses in throughout the whole of the time he was on the pitch, which is nowhere near good enough in this system. The crosses that he did get in were shocking, and he had a shot or 2 throughout the game, but didn't really test Raya too much. And it's just a constant theme now with Brennan Johnson. 3 starts, 3 shockers.
Yeah, I thought he was so frustrating on the day. He had the most frustrating thing is he was probably the one getting all the space. He was the one getting on the ball a lot. He saw a lot of the ball in this one, especially on the right hand side in one-on-one situations to face up Timber. And in every single occasion, he just wasn't able to do a single thing. Wasn't able to cause one problem for Arsenal. It was so easy. I don't know how many crosses Timber dealt with on the day, but it seemed like every time Johnson wanted to get a cross in, Timber just blocking it every single time, which is not good enough in this level of opposition. He didn't have any variety to his game. He didn't change up. He had a couple of half chances in the first half as well. One he blazed over the bar, and one which fell to him, and he had a shot blocked from it, which was another promising moment for him. So ultimately, there was a severe lack of quality there, and he just wasn't able to provide any real moments for us when he had a lot of opportunities to. So really, really, really frustrating day for Brennan.
Sonny next. 5s all round for Sonny, unfortunately, our captain on the day, and you know what you're going to get from Sonny in terms of work rate and effort, and you definitely saw that. I felt like he was better than Brennan on the left-hand side. At least he was taking on Ben White, and he actually got the better of him a couple of times. The crosses that he was putting in the box as well was slightly better than Brennan, but still weren't able to pick out anyone. He did have a few successful passes that we were able to really hurt Arsenal with, but the lack of conviction really at the end of it. But I just feel like Sonny's just completely getting hung out to dry in this system.
He's just wasted. I feel like he's wasted is the word I would use in the being a touchline winger. That's not how you get the best out of his best attributes, which is scoring goals and getting shots off. And he just wasn't. We weren't able to find him anywhere near enough in those situations. He did start off the game brightly, and in fact, one of his best moments when he was a bit more central, when he could do that cut back to Decky, who had a shot saved. That was him in the box. One of the few times we probably did see Son in the box. And I think come the second half, we knew we needed to change it because we moved him inside. We moved him up front for the last half an hour. Wasn't able to get on, last 50 minutes or so. But when he's on the left-hand side and you're asking him to, take on his fullback, be relentless on the left-hand side, get crossed in the box, he's just not that kind of player. I mean, he can do it to a decent standard, but it's not good enough to make this system really as effective as it should be.
He's doing it better than Brennan.
And he is not as effective he's not as effective as he could be in a different position. So it's just not. We're not getting the most out of him. And I feel like he's wasting that on the left-hand side.
The last of the starting 11, Dominic Solanke on his home debut. Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 5. And to be fair, he was giving Saliba a bit of a hard time physically. I thought he stood up to that challenge fairly well at times.
Got him booked as well, didn't he?
Got him booked, yeah, exactly. So I thought in that aspect of the game, I thought he was doing pretty well. But our best two chances fall for him, and he's got to be doing better. Again, our best two chances against Leicester fall to Dominic Solanke, and he's got to be doing better. So he needs to find that killer mentality where he gets those chances and he puts at least one of them away. Because if we go 1-0 up at that stage of the game, it's a completely different game, and who knows what happens from there. But I just felt like a lot of the times he was just in the box by himself and the team just were not helping him. So that's no fault of his own, but he was just dealing with scraps most of the time.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest issue. The delivery into him was woeful, and he wasn't really able to get any joy inside the box. I thought outside of the box, actually, in the build-up and his hold-up play was actually pretty impressive. He was able to hold off Saliba and Gabriel a few times, and that's no mean feat. You know, they're two very strong centre-backs, and I thought he competed really well. He was winning some aerial duels as well early on. When he was dropping deep, and his pressing was also pretty good. But as soon as he got into the penalty box, he just wasn't able to make any sort of impact. And then his big chance came when that intercepted fell into his path. He had so much time to get a shot off inside the box. He just waited way too long to get the shot off. Maybe it's a match fitness problem, I'm not sure, but he really struggled to really create a real promising opportunity. He nearly scored with a fantastic looping header, which would have been an unbelievable goal, but unfortunately just went wide for him. But he'll be really disappointed with that chance, because if that ball's falling to you, and you don't even muster an opportunity, that's a really worrying sign.
Yeah. Let's move on to the substitutes. Pape Matar Sarr, 5s, came on in the 6, and look, he saw quite a bit of the ball, didn't he? But I just felt like they asked him to be like one of our main creators on the pitch, and he was getting the ball, he was trying to make stuff happen, but it's just not his game. And maybe it would have been better to start him or not. I'm unsure on that, but he just failed to make an impact when he came on.
I don't think I liked him in the 6, to be honest. I think where he was good was he does cover a lot of ground, and I think he was coming forward quite a bit. He actually made some bad decisions when he took a couple of shots where he probably shouldn't have, albeit we were probably desperate at that point.
One of the shots he took, though, you never know what was going to happen. Timo Werner blocked it and he was offside.
But I didn't like him when he was coming deep and looking to pick the ball off the centre-backs. I thought he didn't have enough awareness around him. He nearly got caught on a couple of occasions. He just didn't look comfortable in those situations. So didn't think he was that great on that point, but I thought he was okay coming forward, but didn't have enough quality to make a real difference. Yeah.
Wilson Odobert came on at the same time as well. Sim gives him a 5, I gave him a 4. And again, I thought he just failed to make an impact against a really strong, sitting deep Arsenal midfield and defence. And he didn't. I think he took one block shot throughout the day. He tried to put in one cross, and I thought it was completely awful. And he didn't take on his man or try and attack his man either. So I failed to see what he brought to the team.
Yeah, he didn't do much when he came on, to be honest. Looked threatening, but I think what he should have been doing, which he did a couple of times, was just drive inside Timber and look for some combinations with Decky and whoever else was in the middle and try and get some combos going, which he's much better at than Brennan. He looked to do that a couple of times, but it didn't really come off for him. The only frustrating thing is he got the ball on a couple of occasions on the right side and didn't swing it in when maybe he could have, and his delivery didn't look fantastic. But again, I don't think his best position's on the right. It looks more of a left winger. So I don't know. I think he was all right. But I don't think he did anything much, to be honest.
Timo Werner, last but not least from the playing staff, Sim gives him a 2. I gave him a 4, and a really frustrating day, or 10 minutes, shall I say, for Timo Werner. And look, I thought when Timo first came on, he actually... his first few actions were pretty good. He was winning the ball back quite aggressively and did well. But the 10 minutes is always going to be remembered for that stupid pass that pretty much played Arsenal through, and that block where Sarr takes a shot and Werner's in an offside position and he blocks the shot. So very frustrating. He was being told to be the answer to get us back into this game, and he was anything but. I think it was a big mistake from Ange to bring him on.
Yeah, I didn't understand why take off Maddison for Werner as well. A couple of times he got down the left-hand side and his delivery was terrible, would straight into the keeper's arms. I just thought it was a bit of a disaster class from Timo Werner, to be honest. To be fair to him, though, when he did give away the pass, he did win it. He did take it upon himself to win it back, so he did win it back. So go credit there, which is maybe not why he's more than a 1. But I thought it was a bit of a disaster class from him, to be honest.
Yeah. Next up, last but not least, is Ange Postecoglou. 5s all round from us. And, you know, if it was this game in isolation, maybe he gets bigger marks, because we did dictate the game. We were asking a few questions of Arsenal. We were looking really bright in those opening half an hour, but it's carrying on a consistent theme now where we're getting the lion's share of possession in the game, but we can't seem to muster up any sort of meaningful chances in the game. And I felt like Ange needs to take the flak for that. He needs to take the flak for not getting Son in the right positions in the games. He needs to take the flak for taking off Maddison and not bringing on a creator in the last 10 minutes when we're 1-0 down in the North London derby. So I thought there was a number of decisions Ange got wrong on the day, and we lose the game in the North London derby. That's 3 in a row. I don't think he's won a London derby against West Ham, Chelsea or West Ham so far on the Spurs shirt, Arsenal, Chelsea or West Ham. And that's 2 in a row at home. And I don't ever remember, we've lost 3 in a row in total, and I don't ever remember I don't think it's ever happened in the history of North London derbies, losing 3 in a row at home.
Yeah, unacceptable. And it's just the fact we looked so blunt. The pattern of the game was so predictable, and we still couldn't fight against the tide. I feel for him in certain moments, because I thought the pressing was really good, and we should have, created more out of those pressing moments. And it's not his fault that Solanke took a few extra touches, or when we had a 5-on-3 and we didn't make anything of it. But the fact that we looked so slow in possession, we weren't able to ask different questions of Arsenal. We were way too blunt going forward. And the fact we conceded from another set piece, he's going to have to take the flak for that. And the fact that, you look at our form now, it's quite worrying. So, look, it's still early on. He's still got time to turn it around. But he has to take the blame for this result for sure. No doubt about it.
Yeah. And that is our player ratings.